limitation that was brought up is as you know, to knock out the filibuster possibility. I want you to know that I went to a CCM meeting for newly elected officials up in the Cromwell area, and this was recommended by CCM. In fact, of the 8 CEOs I was sitting with, chief elected officials from different towns, 7 out of the 8 towns have it right on their agenda. Please make your comments limited to 5 minutes or less, or 10 minutes, or whatever the town is, but please make your comments brief. Or have limitations. So this isn't a new idea. In fact, I think like our blight ordinance, I think we might be in the minority not having some kind of a limitation on that. Again, we talked about a particular person who can get up there for half an hour while we have maybe 3 town employees who are on the clock and waiting for comments that might not be necessarily appropriate. They might be like a Ted Cruz reading the Cat in the Hat. In Congress, which I think he did. I think was it Cat in the Hat? You might remember that. It was Green Eggs and Ham, and it was Dr. Seuss. And I listen. We want to do the town's business, and the last thing we want to do is prevent public comment. We just want to make sure that there's a little control on that. Should it go inappropriate or far too long? I don't see us using it maybe ever. The comments Mr. Mingo made about being removed. Mr. Mingo has served this town well. I applaud him for his service. There are others who also would like to serve the town. And Mr. Mingo does serve on another commission, and will continue to do so. His appointment lasts for another couple of years. He was not removed for comments on the day. That part is from left field. I'm not sure where that's coming from. The building committee will be used by me for town projects as appropriate and as they're supposed to be used. The projects that were mentioned before our time, many of us, before my time as first selectman, the boardwalk and the buildings at the beaches. The boardwalk is being built by spec, being built as designed. No corners have been cut. The engineering firm who designed this has also been on site as we talked about, a clerk of the works, as in the engineer on site to observe, making sure that every piece of that boardwalk is being built as it was designed on paper, blueprints, and therefore their liability rests with them as well. This engineering firm is a top-rated engineering firm, and they're fantastic what they do, and the service we got from them was fantastic as well. I think we're going to very much enjoy the finished product. The budgets are being...
Before you leave
yes.
that topic, the comments regarding the lack of fabric and armament stones, the area that he was looking at, is that an area that is supposed to have that and does not? Is this in the stage of still in the stages of being completed?
There's some things that are still in the stages of being built, but it's going to be built exactly as it was designed to be built. Most of the heavy rock or riprap or armament is the last 100 feet of the boardwalk where it comes down. When you walk on that boardwalk finally, there's going to be a little ramp that comes down about a foot or two, which puts it in line with the hole in the wall. Mm-hmm. And that is the area that's susceptible. The area halfway out will not have armament. It will have the small riprap that's there now. What will protect the boardwalk is the steel sheeting that is there now. It's being built exactly as the engineers intended it to be built.
Thank you.
Budgets are being, departments coming in one by one, and myself and Anna are reviewing budgets, goals, and proposals and ideas, frankly. I visited the National Guard facility here yesterday and had a 1.5-hour tour with Major Gilman. And we talked about neighbor issues that have been resolved. We talked about their future plans. We talked about things that they've already done and to enhance the facility here. And of course, we were reminded of all the neighborly things that they do, like during the hurricanes when they stepped up and really helped this town move past Sandy and Irene, and the economic benefit to the town as well, the direct economic benefit to the town. They're good neighbors. Our JLU study continues, and we have a very good working relationship with the National Guard unit here, and hope to continue that. The male population at the prison is being removed as we speak. Should be done by the end of this week or next. I meet with the warden once a quarter, and one of the biggest, not obstacles, but the biggest challenges in his job is to keep the boys away from the girls on this campus that not everyone is in lockdown. Not everyone is in a jail cell 23 hours a day. There's a lot of movement between buildings on that site, and it's a challenge for him. So having an all-female site is the goal of the state prison system, and they're realizing that goal as of this week.
Do you see that having any impact on town town residents who are employees at the prison?
Very little. Eventually that population might fill up with females. Very little impact on the Water and Sewer Commission. And I think that's their biggest customer is the prisons. It will have a slight impact for a little while. I did not discuss with him if there's going to be a drawdown of employees, frankly.
Would it be possible to follow up on that?
Yeah, I will. I'll ask him tomorrow.
Thank you.
It's a good question. You mentioned Bill Blanchett. He's served our town for 7 years, and has moved on. And we did give him a proclamation. Thank you, Kevin, for stepping in on that. And we will see Bill back in here when we give those awards. Mike Poole, who has served this town for 20 some odd years, is retiring Friday, and he's been in charge of our water department out there in the fields, and he's moving on, retiring actually, and good for Mike. Thank you, Mike, for your service. You may have noticed in the last comment, because my voice is going anyway, that Ledyard has taken the initial step to pull out of the seat bus system. One of the 8 or 12 towns that are part of the seat system. It's concerning because that's the first domino to fall. Other towns may fall as well, and we're doing our best to convince SEAT that the money we pay is the proper amount. And if they push us to a double amount, which they were pushing Ledyard to, actually a triple amount for fees, that would probably have a tough time struggling to justify the value. But as it stands right now, we are in the seat system. There's a big working meeting, work group, and board of directors meeting next Wednesday, and I think the seat's fate will be decided then.
Have you seen this little shuttle bus type thing that goes through town?
The 6-town or the 9-town.
Nine-town transit, and
Yeah.
it originates down west of us. Down in Saybrook area.
Saybrook.
You
And,
had mentioned earlier that you were aware that there were several people that were dependent upon, in town, that were dependent upon the seat transport, and I wonder if that's a viable alternative, that we might get that group to perhaps enlarge their route.
Mrs. Hardy, I agree 100%. If we walk away from seat, if we have to, if we're forced to, if they force our hand here, that would be an alternative, is to look at what they're offering. And if they could, by their charter, expand deeper into East Lyme. I know they come in and out very quickly in this town. I don't think they have a large
I don't know if they go
route
east
here.
to New London, though, right?
I think
Yeah.
they
I
do,
think they do.
because
Okay.
I see them on Boston Post Road.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see
Headed
them.
down
I see
east.
them.
They
They
down
go
West
into
Shore,
New
Boston
London,
Post
you
Road.
think? Is that what you said?
I said I'm not sure they do.
I
but
think
I
they
thought
do.
they stopped here and went more west.
No,
I thought so, too,
I've
but-
seen them in Waterford on Route 1. So
No
I
kidding.
I don't know.
We'll look into that. We'll look into that.
It
we-
might be advantageous for SEAT to know that there might be an alternative for them if they decide to hardline it.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much for that. It'll be good. It'll be a good thing to have the knowledge walking into that meeting Wednesday. Usually, after we have our ex officio and first selectmen's report, we have public comment. So, members of the public, anyone wish to speak? Oh, good. But we normally give our name and our address.
I'm Julie Horner, 42 Manwaring Road, Niantic.
Hi, Julie.
I actually sent emails to you. I just really am coming to say thank you for your work. I know there's a lot of things happening through town for all of our areas, and I think a lot of times you get a lot of complaints and things, and people don't obviously attend every single meeting, and many people listen to them. So I'm just here to say thank you, and hopefully as our town grows and changes, we can continue to add value to our town to continue to bring people into here. So thank you.
Including the schools, right?
Yeah.
Including the,
Everything.
yeah,
Well,
I
think-
know.
I think there's a couple phases.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Any other comments?
Just wanted to, sorry,
No.
did you want
No.
to speak? Wanted to add to what the first selectman said about other towns having limits on public comment, and I agree with him. I don't think it's anything we're going to be using on a regular basis, and in fact may never use. But New London, which we're partnering with on the grapple hook truck, you were required to sign up to speak. They limit the number of people available, and once you've spoken, you cannot return to speak again. So there are other towns that have far stricter regulations as to who can address them at a public meeting. And the other thing I meant to say in my ex officio, I wanted to thank the first selectman for being present for the Countdown to Noon event at the community
Oh, yeah.
center.
Yeah.
We had a great turnout, and he was our proud puller of the string for the balloon drop. And it worked, which was a great relief to me. And I do want to thank him and Parks and Rec and all the other town library and Marge, custodian at the community center, for helping us have a wonderful event. So thank you.
That was an awesome thing. The kids kept on doing this countdown thing. I was in the middle of talking. Holly was in the middle of talking. I kept on hearing 10, 9, 8. No, wait, it's not time. Nothing like a bunch of kids. It was what a fun time.
Kids and balloons,
And,
yes.
and the Children's Museum, hats off to you guys. Great job. All in favor of a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Good night.
Good night.